Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I was just watching Johan Bruja. I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly, but he was trying to tell us that D'Lo is a player that should be making 30 million a year. Hell no, bro. Are you crazy? Hell no. Hell no. No, bro. No. D'Lo should be somewhere in between 15 and 20 million dollars. $20 million is about where he's at right now. The Lakers give him $30 million worth of that cap, man. Something is terribly wrong. I understand the market for the point guard is not plentiful, but we have the 17th pick, which means we can pick up a point guard at that position as well. Plus, things open up all the time. This is the NBA. And quite frankly, guys are getting traded left and right. So don't think like that. Oh, no one in the free agency. We can't get anybody. Yes, you can. Just keep your eyes open. For the meantime, if we got to choose between CP3 and Dennis Schroeder, I honestly think continuity is really what's best for our team, you guys. I really do. Now, I'm not going to say disrespectfully that CP3 should be turned away for Dennis Schroeder in a nutshell. I would never say that. That's disrespectful. But what I'm saying is, I don't necessarily think that we should be breaking apart much of what we have, especially as it pertains to the players that we've been relying upon to play defense for us. Chris Paul is not going to do that. And so I like what Chris Paul can do if he's healthy, but when is he ever? So you don't do that. You can bring him on, but not instead of Schroeder. You need to get Schroeder to be re-signed. That's a mistake, letting him go in this climate. Johan is correct about the point guard climate, so you don't want to be just going all willy-nilly with point guards, especially ones as productive as Dennis Schroeder, who know your system, etc. So I don't think so. No, I'm not letting him go. Not for Chris Paul this year. In most years, of course. And is he better than Chris Paul? Hell no. But in a nutshell, for what we need, I just think it makes more sense throughout the course of an 82 game schedule to get the guy who rolled his ankle and came back in the game and played and never even left the season at all for that situation. So, I mean, you don't do stuff like that. You just don't. Plus, again, as I said earlier today, I really want us to try giving our kid Scottie Pippen Jr. an opportunity. And guess what position he plays? Point guard. So that slips him right in and right up into the situation to play. Um, so I don't see the problem. I know that we need to have like a star playing the point guard role, but to be honest with you, no, that's not the case. All we really need is somebody who can hit shots, play some defense, and basically knows how to get the ball to AD and Bron. So that's really what it is, man. We got to get these guys going. Rui, Austin Reeves also is going to play some point guard role for us, side position facilitating roles. So we know that we don't necessarily need to go crazy over the point guard position. Least of all, giving D'Lo no damn $30 million. Did he pay you to say that? What are we talking about? Anyway, so that's what I got to say, man. And in regards to that, look, if you want to re-sign D'Lo at a price that makes sense based on what it is that we just saw him do, then do that. But if we're gonna overpay him like he's somebody else, then why don't you just go and get somebody else? For $30 million, you can get somebody else. So that's really what it comes down to. I'm not paying him that. I'm gonna pay somebody else that. So if it's gonna be a sign and trade, if a team wants to agree to pay him $30 million, then of course we can trade him for that $30 million point guard. Give me Dejounte Murray, give me somebody else, but give me Trae Young. But don't do that. You don't overpay for D'Angelo Russell to keep him happy. Okay, he can be happy, but he has to play up to a level where he has that type of leverage. We all want to be happy. So that ain't no damn reason to give him $30 million. But anyway, that's what I wanted to say here. I just don't understand stuff like that. But nevertheless, I will definitely echo a different sentiment on this channel so that we all know where this fan stands. We ain't paying him no damn $30 million. That's crazy. At any rate, I do respect his game. He can play well and all that stuff, but he also has the calluses on the feet that we talk about all the time. So we are not confused. We ain't doing that. Anyway, so as we continue to talk about our team, we can address the point guard position, of course, but there are other positions to address. And as we talked about earlier today, the most important thing for me is to just bring back continuity and start beginning to promote the players in the South Bay Laker team that have been playing very well down there, that are young players who we know can fill roles. Plus, we're going to be empowering Max Christie, and he's a multi-positional player. Now, we don't know if he's going to come out and play well or if he's going to struggle early on, which is to be expected because this is in theory his rookie season. But nevertheless, we know he's a talented player with length and the ability to play both sides of the floor. And if his shot continues to fall like it did in the first season, I don't really want to call it his rookie season, but when he got the time to play, he was very good. And we saw that he was able to hit at a high clip from pretty much any level that he shot from. So this is somebody I was expecting going to continue to play well. Hopefully he doesn't run into any injuries, taking care of his body, having a good offseason, etc. And I expect for him to fill a role. And so that can kind of answer some of the questions about other positions as well. If for some reason we want to get locked into whatever we want to, we would otherwise do with drafting number 17. I heard something that was really interesting. They said that they thought we would trade back to get a first round pick for next season so that we can try to get an opportunity to draft Bronny. I think that's a good idea. I'm not gonna lie to you. You definitely want to have an opportunity to draft that kid if for some reason your intentions is to keep LeBron James happy. Now, if you expect for him to retire or you don't care anymore, that's a whole nother story. But that is a nice young prospect to consider, nevertheless. And I think next year's draft is going to be a bit better than most people think, so we're going to keep our eyes open for that as well. But nevertheless, these are just theories that people are throwing out. I saw one guy say in the comment section of that same content that they thought we were going to possibly trade for Porzingis and maybe Corey Kispert, using the 17th pick, the $10 million from Bamba, and possibly Beasley's contract to get that done. Honestly, that's not the worst trade in the world if the Wizards were really serious about unloading that contract. However, I got to take a look at that contract to make sure we should actually be bringing it on. But given the fact that those are three-point shooters that could definitely improve our team, and judging by the length of Porzingis, couple that with AD, I think we could be pretty dangerous in terms of length, what we would expect to throw on the floor at that time. Plus, AD wouldn't have to play as much center while having Porzingis play around the perimeter, which would allow for us to still be just as good. I think it would fit right in pretty well. So these are the type of things I just wonder if the new president over there in Washington would be considering something like that, since they're unloading Beal anyway. Maybe this is a good opportunity for us to bring in Porzingis, who's coming off a pretty good year. If he's in shape, it's definitely a problem that we would love to provide other teams. And given how hard we had trying to guard Jokic down there, I don't know if Porzingis is necessarily going to do anything next to him, but clearly we can throw another big out there that we can more or less trust to do some big things out there and block shots for certain. So I don't think it's the worst idea to consider such things, but I do have my eyes on a lot of prospects in this draft that I want to see the Lakers take a look at. Staying in this draft is my priority. But when I consider what our timeline is and what we're trying to consider in regards to Bron and AD, I just think you can really do well making a trade for a guy like Porzingis. So make it make sense is what I would tell the Lakers. We don't have too many picks to be toying around with. But a guy like Corey Kispert makes that trade pretty interesting. And I don't think the Wizards should be looking to move him, by the way. That is a very good shooter who is also coming off a pretty good year. But, we'll see what they have to do there for themselves in regards to their pick. They have, I think it's 8. I have them taking Anthony Black, which is a very good point guard, but who knows if he'll actually fall that far at this point. He may actually be moving up in terms of what people are expecting. So the draft is on Thursday. You guys know I'm going to be paying attention to that regardless of what's going on. And to be honest with you, I think that draft is going to be one of the better ones that we've seen in a while, because I think it could be some early trades that are pretty much expected to take place. In fact, I think it'll be more of a shock if those trades do not happen, to be honest with you, particularly the second overall pick and the third one. So, it is what it is, man. Our Lakers obviously drafting at 17. The prospects that I think are up there are pretty good ones, so we better make sure we know what we're doing if we decide to trade that pick for any reason at all. But I think Porzingis is a player whose value could be on the rise if he has a full season. Now that's if, because he's had his injuries and stuff like that, but I just like the idea of adding another unicorn next to AD. I think it could really make for a good situation. And if LeBron James for some reason retires or something happens where he's not playing as much, if you can keep those two on the floor, it can complement the rest of the team pretty well. A guy like Austin Reeves will do well with those two players down there catching passes from him. So I like how that looks overall in theory. And I wonder what Coach Ham would think of that, judging by the fact that he loves playing small ball. And I wonder what player he's looking at in this draft as well, what would fit his system. I'd imagine he'd want a guy like Jordan Hawkins, to be honest with you, or somebody like Jet Howard who can hit shots. I don't know that he would want to play Jet too much in regards to his defense, but for me, I'm just curious to see what Darvin Ham really wants to have happen on his watch, so to speak, in regards to this pick. Because I think if we don't consider that, we may be drafting a player that's going to drop in value as soon as we pick him up. You know, there's certain players that are just not going to be trusted by Darvin Ham, and we know that sometimes that's not really what we appreciate. But, you know, we got to make sure that everybody we're signing are people he wants to play, especially if we're going to play them $30 million. So that's another thing entirely. But I tell you guys, I think the Lakers are going to be just fine. It just becomes a situation where you want to see them get everybody started early in the season healthy. As I said earlier, I don't know if these guys need surgery on their feet. We've talked about this several times. LeBron James and Anthony Davis, they are definitely living it up. I saw LeBron James's post. He's telling all the haters that he's the sun, and you know they need to let their light shine or something like that. I don't know, but he's in Europe and enjoying himself and trying to just ease his mind in regards to the offseason, not necessarily coming off a championship run, but you know, I think that, you know, him enjoying his offseason is the most important thing, and that's a good thing given that he's given so much to the game. As long as his health is 100% to start the season, I have no problem. So that's what I got to say about that. Denver Nuggets coach talking a lot, so I'm assuming he's responding to him, honestly, since he called himself the Laker daddy. Lame. I don't understand it, to be honest with you. What is his obsession with our franchise? Did we turn him away at some point? What was going on there? I don't remember him being a part of our franchise as assistant coach, so I'm not really sure. You know, it seems like a little bit of jealousy there, but whatever works for him, man. He's the champ, so he can talk as much as he wants to. But as far as him being the daddy of us, how many championships are we talking about? You have one, sir, one. And mind you, the last one we got, we ran through you to get. So that's what I got to say to Mike Malone again. Regardless, he got his, and congratulations. But to say he's a Laker daddy, how so? How so? That's what I got to ask about that. But, you know, luckily enough, he's coaching some fantastic talent in Jokic and Murray and those guys. And so they carried him home and backed him up. And so hopefully they'll remain able to do that so he can continue saying all this nonsense that's coming out of his mouth. That's pretty much what I got to say about that. But anyway, onward and upward. You know, we have a new season to prepare for, and you know, judging by how things are going, it seems like the Lakers are looking to try to fill the point guard spot first. So that's what it looks like they're doing. I just hope they don't step backwards defensively or bring Darvin Ham somebody he just simply can't use. I like the idea of bringing in Chris Paul, but we cannot expect too much from him, and we certainly cannot pay him over a vet minimum. So as I said earlier, if we're not going to, you know, consider this how to play this correctly, we are definitely going to suffer because of it. Don't get caught up in the name. Pay attention to the evidence. The man hasn't played a full season in a very long time and usually gets hurt in the playoffs. So these are things that we must pay attention to when you're considering you're trying to be a championship team. Can he help your team if he's on the floor just like everybody else? So that's what I got to say about that. At any rate, that's pretty much my Laker chat video for this particular hour. If anything else pops up or if I remember anything else, of course I'll give it to you. But for now, I'm signing off. BDF44. Thank you all for watching. I'm out.